Hey Limitless Nation, today you're in for a real treat. Today you get to learn directly from Koray Kuroz. Koray is an international speaker and coach. He uses his high energy to help his clients have breakthrough after breakthrough, enabling them to add zeros to their income in an epic way. Koray is proof that no matter where you are, you can go after your dream. Having a rough life early on, Koray found himself in a maximum security prison where he was told that he wouldn't get out for 15 years. After a life-changing epiphany, Koray's life has never been the same. Today, he strives to share the secrets that have continued to bring him results with his clients all around the world. In today's masterclass, you are going to learn directly from the master himself, Koray Kuroz. Let's dive into it.
Well, before you dive into today's masterclass session, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. It allows you to receive notification about every single time we have uploaded a new video and showing you how to live a limitless life. Now, if you want to dig deeper on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donna Vaughn at Untitled.com. It will show you how you can hunt your future on every aspect of your being. Plus, you're going to receive tips and secrets on what you need to do to tackle your days on a regular basis. Now, let's dive into today's masterclass sessions.
Hey, welcome, Koray.
Hey, how you going, Donovan?
Going great. We're glad to have you here today. So, is there anything that we did not mention in the bio that you'd like to share with the Limitless Nation?
No, not at this stage.
Okay. Well, Koray, we start off each interview with a limitless quote or mantra or even affirmation. So, do you have a quote that you repeat to yourself on a daily basis?
Oh yeah, definitely. I do. Yeah, it's. I do incantations every day. It's actually something that I teach to all my clients.
Okay.
There's three in particular. It's I am unstoppable, I am confident, and I am energetic.
I believe that. You are unstoppable, you are confident, and you are absolutely energetic. Wow. Now, can you tell us of a time where you had to overcome a challenge or obstacle or even failure that you got to this type of mindset where you are unstoppable, you are energetic and all that? What was the time where you got knocked down that you were still able to bounce back?
Yeah, great question. So 3 years ago, I was in prison, and when I was in prison, there was this one time when I was in prison. I was placed in prison for basically involved in drugs and violence and gangs and stuff like that. And so I was in like a maximum security prison, and I asked for help this one time when I was in this cell on my own. I was sitting in this like 3 meter by 1 meter prison cell. And I asked for help. And I mean, this was like almost at rock bottom, but it was when I asked for help that something extraordinary happened. These guards came past, and basically after I asked for support, because I couldn't really like deal with the environment. I was like, this is too much. Like, I need fucking help. Is it sweet if I swear? Because I swear quite a lot when I'm on stage.
Go for it.
And then the guards took me out of this prison cell, and they took me down the corridor and put me in this other prison cell. And like, they stripped me naked. Like, I was completely naked. They stripped me fully naked and abused me and tortured me in this prison cell for days. So I was left in this prison cell, just like, can you just imagine like sitting in a cell, like a concrete room on your own for days with no clothes, no food, no water, essentially just like starving to death. And I was essentially I was asking for death. That was my request. But something really extraordinary happened. Like, this was absolute rock bottom. Like, I've never, this was like absolute rock bottom. And I had this epiphany when I was sitting in this cell on the ground. There was no bed. There was no blanket. I was literally like, there's nothing there. I was just there completely naked, just sitting there. And I just like had this epiphany and came to a realization that everything happens for me, not to me. And it's like, it's those 5 words that have changed my life significantly. Like it's just transformed my life. Up until that point, I thought that everything was happening to me. I was like, why the fuck am I in this jail? Like, how am I here? This is not fair. And like, that's the mindset that I had. And I think that's the mindset that most people on this planet have. And it really led me to a point of being in jail. But it was when I was in this moment, I had this epiphany. I was like, holy crap. I realized like I got all these ideas. I was like, I know what I need to do if I get out of this prison cell. I know where I am, like stuffed up. I basically set myself on a mission to go to like high schools at that point and to speak at high schools. Like I totally visioned it, and like all of a sudden I just bawled out in tears, and I was really excited. I was like, fuck, like this is really cool. I was sitting in that cell completely naked, and like at that point I was told that I wasn't going to get out for 15 years. So I was told that I had 15 years, and it was, I would say that was the moment where the transformation happened. Like I just had this, like, that epiphany. And I remember like a week later, I had my partner that she came and visited me in prison, and, we got like an hour visit per week. And like, I just like expressed all this joy, and I was so happy. I was like, I now know like what's happened my entire life. Like, I get it. I had a really difficult upbringing, and I used that as a reason, excuse to kind of head down the pathway that I did. But I was also really blessed to have an awesome education. So I am really educated, and, whilst having like a complex upbringing, like a really abusive and violent upbringing, I use that as like I thought that was why it was okay to kind of head down the pathway that I did, particularly when I left high school, which that's what kind of happened. So, and so, yeah, that like epiphany was, was huge. And so ever since then, I've just like had that, and that's a message that I share with all my clients, with everyone, that everything's happening for you, not to you. And nothing's ever happening directly to you. As soon as we, as humans, realize that everything happens for us, that's it, game changer. All the pain and suffering ends. And that's what Tony Robbins talks about. Everything becomes a challenge, not a problem. When you have challenges, like, cool, there's challenges, but they're not a problem. It's not a problem. It's a challenge, and it's happening. It's like a blessing to happen. Like everything's incredible.
It's almost like a challenge is an opportunity for you to get better. A problem is not that opportunity.
Exactly. And I actually I teach to others now that challenges are actually great. That's what we want. If you're not having a challenge, your life sucks. You want adversity, because it's often people that go through adversity and challenges that succeed. If you don't fail, you're not going to succeed. Simple as that.
Yes, I completely agree. Now, Koray, what are you working on now?
Hope you enjoyed the masterclass session so far. Before we get into the second half of the session itself, it is very crucial for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I really don't want you to miss out on another masterclass where I'm going to share with you what other experts, celebrities, Fortune 5000 companies do to become successful and live a limitless life. So make sure you subscribe right now, and every single time we upload a new video, you will receive a notification bell. This allows you to enjoy the masterclass on the regular basis. So make sure you subscribe right now. Well, as you are ready, let's get into the second half of the masterclass session.
Yeah, cool. So great question. So I'm building like a mastermind in Australia, which is really, really exciting. And I've been working with I've spoken to thousands of people, which is a blessing. I've spoken to high schools, I've spoken for organizations. I'm a keynote speaker, do really cool stuff. And, I get to do this full time. So I'm blessed to be doing what I'm doing and get I get high income, and I'm helping others essentially. I'll share in a sec exactly what it is that I do, but fundamentally it's all about, for me, what I did was I found my voice, right? I found my ability to express my voice, because that's what was lacking throughout life. I didn't know how to express my story. I didn't know how to express myself authentically. I wasn't authentic. I lacked vulnerability. I saw vulnerability as a significant challenge that I, would not want to do. Now, everything that I teach is that vulnerability is a fucking must. If you're not vulnerable, you're not going to succeed. You want to be exposed to being attacked, because if you're not different, if you don't stand out, then you're not gonna succeed. So I do all kinds of weird stuff now. Like I do like lives to hundreds of people inside like a gym whilst I'm doing weights, and like people looking around me like, this guy's crazy. Like I do really like insane stuff that places me in vulnerable states. And so that's all about finding my voice. And so now I share my story with others, right? That's kind of what I do, share my story to inspire the people. And it's all about, like I've monetized my message, I've been blessed to kind of be in the position that I am. So I've monetized my message, and I get to do incredible things. And now like I've set up a program where I'm helping so many people do the exact same thing, which is all about finding your voice and having that ability to express your story and share your story with others. And how cool is it to kind of monetize that message and make a really good living out of it.
Wow. Now, in sharing your voice and and monetizing that and getting your message out there. Where can the Limitless Nation go to learn more about how they can do that?
Totally. So, I mean, there's a couple places. There'd be koraykuroz.com, which is just my website. So it's just KORAYKUROZ.com. And then I'm more heavily present on social media. So on Instagram, you can type my name in again, which is just, Koray Kuroz. And also in Facebook, and my page is out there, and I'm quite well known, like out on social media. So that's kind of where I can be found.
Wow, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that with us.
No worries.
Now, when you first started your Limitless journey and you're in prison, and that's just a difficult situation, I'm sure, even just psychologically, what would you say was the one thing that was really holding you back from becoming limitless? And I think we touched on this just a little bit before.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say self-inflicted pain is one. I used to believe that being depressed was okay because of what I've been through, right? Being exposed to the things I was exposed to, like a very violent upbringing, being abused, and like all these different kinds of things as a young person. Like I saw that as a reason to be depressed. So I believed that I could be depressed. And so now the philosophies that I teach and believe in is that it ultimately comes down to beliefs. And if you believe that you're depressed, you're going to be depressed. If you believe that you're happy, you're going to be fucking happy. If you believe that you got high energy, you will produce high energy. Like, I wasn't born this energetic. I wasn't born with these communication skills. I actually used to fear public speaking more than anything on this planet. I remember back in high school, the teacher would call me out to speak in front of a class, and I'd be shitting myself. Like, I'd be sweating, and I'd be thinking, like, how can I escape this room? I couldn't communicate very clearly. I hated communication. So for me, I think I've kind of like moved around, shuffled around a little bit, but I'd say self-inflicted pain, because I believed that I couldn't do it. So I couldn't do it, right? So I didn't believe that I could speak in front of people. I didn't believe that I had what it takes. I believed that I feared rejection. I feared so many different things. I just believed that I was not good enough to excel.
Wow.
That's kind of the psychology that I had.
And then you managed to change all that around, turn it almost on a dime with that epiphany that you had, that limitless moment where it was almost, from what I've heard, it sounded like just like snap, and it all changed, and you got excited and you got joyful, and then you found your purpose, you found your why, and you got to take imperfect, consistent action towards that.
100%. I would also say, like, it also doesn't come down to just that one moment. That was the very start to the whole mission. Like, I've uncovered more layers to my purpose as I've gone on. So, when I was about a couple of years after being in that moment, like in prison, I got an opportunity to be a speaker, like for an organization where I went around to high schools. And that's what I wanted to do when I was in prison. But later on, I discovered I wanted to shift elsewhere and really build upon this mission and purpose. And now I've got more and more clarity in what I want to do and why I want to teach others to do the same thing. So yeah, it's kind of, it's built, it's really strengthened and gotten more and more powerful.
Wow. That's intense. Now, Koray, when you started, because obviously you have helped so many people, even though you yourself started from a difficult spot, you've overcome that. And you're now helping so many other people overcome their difficulties, overcoming their fears of speaking, as well as just finding themselves. What was like the most memorable advice that you were given that helped propel you forward?
That's a great question. So it would probably be it comes down to two things. It's hard to put this down to, because, I'm just thinking of what comes to mind right now. But one would be a really good friend of mine who actually handed me a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, I'm not promoting the book. I'm just saying what the book's name. I'm not like an affiliate or anything. But essentially, that book had a huge impact. And the advice that I was given was that this is going to change your life. Because whilst I left prison, I didn't really have I didn't really invest in myself. I hadn't really developed the tools and strategies to do anything in this space. So I had to learn. And so that was the very first book that I read when I left prison, some time after. And my mate who said, this is going to change your life. Like, the advice was just like that, personal development is just fundamental to kind of doing what you want to do. Like, without the investing in myself, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. But I think the other advice that Tony Robbins gives would be like equally, if not more important, more powerful. I believe that, what he says around he's the guy that actually says, everything is happening for you, not to you. So that was really congruent with what I discovered when I was in prison.
That's amazing. Wow. And in speaking of habits, what are some habits that you have now instilled into your life that help you maintain this limitless lifestyle?
Totally. So I do priming. I do priming every day, every morning, like a form of, mindfulness. And I actually reconnect with my past. And I'm really grateful for being in prison and all these experiences that I've had. So I deliberately force myself to connect with these highly emotionally intense experiences. And it really re-triggers my purpose, and it gives me that sense of connection and purpose, and it gives me energy essentially that I can kind of pull forward and throughout the day.
Okay, so it's almost like every single day, what you call priming, and I'm paraphrasing this for just a minute here, is almost like going back to your past and then touching this nerve that all of a sudden is giving you your drive to go for what you're going for now.
100%. It's a form of gratitude in a sense, but I really feel that emotion around the events in the past.
Amazing.
Yeah,
now,
that's the most powerful habit that I have. It's the number one. And the incantations.
Okay, which is basically not to downplay it or anything, but it's like affirmations. Yes, affirmations that you say to yourself, because when you say something to yourself often enough and long enough, you believe it and it becomes a part of you.
100%. Except this is about, you can't put a number to it, but it's significantly more powerful than affirmations, significantly. Okay. Because all my clients that come to me, I've got 20 people in my mastermind right now, and most of them do affirmations. They've been doing affirmations, and but they did this, and it was next level. They're like, whoa, I've never felt anything like this. It's much more powerful.
It's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, because what happens is that essentially you say it in a way that it just absolutely breaks the patterns. The nervous system is just completely disrupted. Because often when we just communicate it with loud volume or normal volume, it's not going to completely break the patterns that we've got within our system. So we want to completely disrupt that, and to do that, we've got to do something absolutely outrageous. So I'd be out on the street doing exercise, going for a jog. And I'll be yelling out loud as I can, screaming, I am this, I am that, I'm fucking unstoppable, literally is yelling off the top of my lungs. Something that I learned off Tony Robbins.
Wow, I agree with that. Now, Koray, what would you say is a resource that you have that you can share with the Limitless Nation to help them on their limitless journey?
Awesome. So, absolutely. So I'm a heavy content marketer. So I post so much content on my social media and on my website. If you were to check me out on my social media pages, you'll see so much content to help people. It's all around, breaking through fears and, like I said, being able to speak your voice and share your story. So that's a lot of the content that I post. So you can check me out by searching, Koray Kuroz on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and you can also see my website, which is koraykuroz.com.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Now, in a hypothetical world, if all of the books in the world just disappeared and you only had enough money in your bank account to buy one book, it could be any book, but it could only be one book. What one book would you go out and get?
I'd get 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yep, I've read that too. That's a very intense read when you really get into it.
100%.
Now, if you had the opportunity to go back to the younger version of yourself, maybe in a difficult spot, maybe before you went to prison, but knowing everything that you know now, and I think you've already answered this, but just bear with me here. What advice would you give to the younger version of yourself?
Yeah, everything happens for you, not to you.
Exactly. Yeah. And I completely 100%. Agree with that. Everything happens for you, not to you. And a lot of people don't necessarily understand that concept, but when you get it, it's almost like mind-blowing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's mind-blowing.
All right. Well, Koray Kuroz, how can the Limitless Nation get in contact with you to learn more about your mastermind class and your story and everything that you have going on right now, so they can just connect with you?
Yeah, cool. Again, social media would be the best place to connect with my story and my information and my, to essentially get, you can give your email address if you were to become part of our network, and essentially, you can reach me by searching Koray Kuroz on Facebook, Instagram. They're probably the 2 main platforms. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Koray.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure the Limitless Nation has been inspired by your story. I know that I am absolutely blown away by your story. You went from down here to up here. You didn't let the struggles and setbacks and failures of even being in a maximum security prison stop you from going out and going after your destiny and reaching your full potential. Well, until next time, this is Donovan saying stay limitless.
Well, that's a wrap. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the word subscribe. And if you want to go deeper on learning on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donovan on what you need to do to hunt your future on every aspect of your being. This allows you to live a limitless life on every aspect of your life starting from today's forward. Plus, you are going to receive tips and tricks on what you need to do to tackle your day, tackle your challenges on every situation, every single time. So go ahead and download it right now, and until then, stay limitless forever.